Welcome to the Sangani Show, where we will talk about everything health, wealth, and wisdom. I came to the US in 1983 from Mumbai, India with $10.45 in my pocket and with a big dream in my heart. Now, I'm a practicing cardiologist, a businessman, an entrepreneur, life mentor, and most importantly, a dad. I have lost some, I won some. But every time I lost or won, I learned even more. And my success has not been easy, but finally I made it. And my next mission is to help you do the same. Learn from my experiences, and that is life is a business. Hello, and welcome to the Sangani Show, the season number 2. Again, thank you very much for watching us. We wouldn't be here if you hadn't watched the season 1, and we hope that we keep providing you with thought-provoking ideas and thoughts that you will keep visiting us, and we enhance your life with the experiences that we have collected all our lives and make it a better life to live. And that will serve our purpose. My name, as you well know, is Dr. Bharat Sangani. And today we have a very interesting show. As most of you know, I'm a cardiologist and a product of allopathy. So with the other areas of health, other areas of well-being have been somewhat foreign concepts to me. And you're always married to the field, you are in it most of the times, and you always think the other areas may not be as impressive or could be as beneficial to the human being, since you always think you are the best in whatever you deliver. But as I've grown older, which is undisputed fact, I also believe have tried to become wiser. And I've started respecting much more other areas of well-being or health and preservation of life. And today, I have a very interesting individual that has joined me on our show today, which exactly doesn't do what I do, and I exactly do not do what she does. And Micah has made our show's name today, Creating Healthier Lives. And there couldn't be a better topic or name to this discussion today, because all she does is try to create a healthier life. I, as a cardiologist, I try to fix problems that people have. She tries to prevent problems. She tries to get life in a better shape, better position, so we can enjoy life a lot better. So without further delay, meet my dear guest today. Her name is Liz Swail. Liz, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I just love everything you said. Great.
Sure.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about, I heard about your background and the number of things that you've done in your life, and looks like finally, like we always find our soulmate at some point. Most of us do, or some of us do, some don't. It looks like you really found your true passion. So tell us the journey of your life and where you are today, and how in the world, what you're doing and how you're accomplishing those things.
Yes, it has been a journey. I started out in a very unlikely place. When I think about where I am now, I grew up very unprivileged, I would say, and to parents, my grandparents raised me because my parents were teenagers when they had me, and no one in my family was very educated, and I through dancing really was my hobby as a kid, and I had a talent in that, and that actually got me into college, and I was able to start studies there, and I kind of bounced around because I didn't have any real role models, and I ended up in a place where I thought to be successful you need to either be a lawyer, a doctor, or in business, and so I chose business, and I went into accounting, and I had some internships at different accounting firms, and I ended up at an investment bank and a small energy startup called Tudor Pickering, and I worked for Goldman Sachs for several years. And in that process, I just never really felt super fulfilled. And I woke up one day and said, I need to give back. I don't need this career to make myself happy. And I went to graduate school at University of Texas to become a teacher. I taught for a little while and then realized maybe a little bit of money would be nice in my life. So I decided that, you know, maybe once I had children that would make some changes. And then my husband and I stumbled into some different entrepreneurial opportunities, and we had a cafe in Austin. It was just a small cafe on the river downtown, and then we opened up another restaurant. So we were very much in the food space, but all the while very mindful of health, because prior to all this, I had a very difficult journey with my health. I was working 80 hours a week for in the investment banking world, and I was unhealthy. I looked healthy because I was a dancer, and so on the outside I was fit looking. I was chronically fatigued. I had horrible brain fog. My stomach was had very bad gut issues, which we'll talk about, I know, today. I was constantly on all kinds of medication. I had menstrual issues, depression, anxiety, and a lot of that was what I've learned later based in what I was putting in my body that I thought was healthy. It was very much the low-fat craze of the 2000s, and so I wasn't really having nutrition in my food, and my body was giving out on me in my 20s and became very unhealthy, even though I was still very high-performing. I still did really well in my job. I exercised constantly, so on the outside it looked good, but I was really aging horribly on the inside, I think. And funny enough, my husband suggested that gluten might be an issue for me. And so that was sort of my first thing that I gave up. And from then, the amount of impact that had on my life was so incredible that that was just the start of my journey. Like, I was always into eating healthy, but I didn't really know what that meant. I thought that meant low fat, low carbs, you know, minimal amount of food. And then I just over time learned how important things were for my functioning in the world. And I just became a student of that. I listened to every podcast, eventually started going to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition for some certifications. I'm currently doing breathwork certification because it just expands. Like, you start small, you give up one little thing, gluten, and your life improves, and then you can slowly add things in. And anyway, so I just found myself in a place where we wanted to make this the center of our world and do this for other people, because the majority of people, I think, are suffering with their health, and it might be at a low level, but it's really decreasing the quality of their life. So my husband and I co-founded Alive and Well, which is in Austin, Texas, and it's just an integrative wellness center. We have a functional medicine practice as sort of the base of what we do. We also have a compounding pharmacy where we make different kinds of drugs. We do a lot of hormonal support, and that's where a lot of the compounding comes in. Different delivery methods for people who do have gut issues and they're not absorbing medication very well. We can bypass the gut with different deliveries in that practice. We also have spa services and holistic therapies. So we do contrast therapy with cold plunges and saunas. We have infrared saunas and red light beds, and we do ozone IVs. We have ozone saunas. We're going to be doing hyperbarics in our new location in Dallas. So we'll have 2 locations by the end of this year. And really, we just want to empower and elevate human health. And it was sort of from this wounded warrior place. Like, I was living in this pain and distress, and now want to fight for other people to be able to have access to these things. And it starts with what we're doing. And I love very few medical doctors will acknowledge that there's something outside of the system that they work in, right, in the cardiovascular system. And I think what we want to promote is that you can't just work in one area. It's a whole body system. It all works together. And sometimes there's something very acute, and you 100% need very knowledgeable, medical advice and a procedure. And like you said, it is our job to try to keep people out of your office, and so that you can treat more people with acute issues that are out of their control. And I feel like a lot of our health and wellness is within our control. And if we could just have the knowledge that we need to own that, we could, make the whole world a much better place.
Well, it's a very nice nice introduction about how you got here, and that really brings all the credibility to what you are doing. And you're probably correct. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, I probably wouldn't be conducting this interview. But over a period of time, I learned to respect other areas and other people who are trying to make life better. So it's going to be an interesting conversation today as to how we think from medical perspective and how she thinks. And she's a living proof of where she has come from without even being a physician. She has experimented things on herself, no different than I would do it on myself. And then she has proven to the rest of the world that it can be done differently and it can have a good outcome. If you are anywhere in Austin area, please go visit her store, Alive and Well. I definitely will. But to her good fortune, she has now moved to Dallas, and very soon she'll be opening her second store, and we wish her well. So she continues to open more and more store and bring different values to lives of the people like she has done it to herself. And obviously, the store in Austin's success has beget more success, and she has chosen the right place. Being in Dallas for more than a decade, I can tell you that you will have enough people who will believe in a good product. I've been very confident. I've been very much supported by lots of group when I first came to Dallas. Going back to your expertise and your feeling about certain things, because I certainly have an opinion and would love to hear your opinion about, should people take supplements?
I would say for some period of time, people should take supplements. I don't think that supplements should be something you depend on day in and day out. I think we should get most of our nutrition from food. That's critical. However, our soil is not what it was 100 years ago. There's the nutrient deficiencies that come in our food become from the soil depletion. So, a head of lettuce has almost no nutritional value these days. And I read studies. I don't have a brain for remembering every number for them, but I've read enough studies and articles to know that very little of our food has everything that we need to survive and be at an optimal level, right? Like we can get by, and certainly with the ultra processed movement of the last.
That is very true. That is very true. In fact, a number of studies have been done. The puberty sets in now with a very early age, and we know why that is. A 10, 11-year-old girl starts having menstrual periods. It's certainly a thing to be noticed. It is hard to find a young kid in the school without glasses. And that wasn't the case many decades ago. So you are absolutely...
Dental issues as well. There's a longer, more controversial study, but out of China that I read many years ago, and there's a slow feminization of men based on hormones that are coming through our food. So it impacts children, but it also impacts many adults and generationally, because those things set into your DNA and you pass them along. And so slowly, generation after generation, we're seeing more of this. And it's really unfortunate. So because of that, I would say I also recommend testing whenever you're going to take supplements, because you don't want to throw the kitchen sink at everything because it's expensive. The other issue with supplements is the bioavailability. If you're buying supplements at CVS, you're really throwing your money down the drain, I would say. So finding companies that optimize their formulas, like iron without any vitamin C, it's not really going to do a whole lot for you. There's different combinations that you should be taking supplements in, and you can research those for what you think you might need. But definitely testing to know, people take vitamin B, and we give vitamin B shots religiously at Alive and Well, and that's been really helpful for many people. But if you don't need vitamin B, then you're just wasting it, because it's something your body is already using or producing at an optimal level, and it's not going to give you a whole lot. But if you need it, it is life-changing. I mean, my friend describes it as somewhere between cocaine and coffee for her because it just gives her such a boost. But I think it's important to know, and if you're low in vitamin D, if you're magnesium, I would say almost everybody is low in, and magnesium is responsible for over 650 different functions in your body that we know about. So that's something that almost everybody, and that affects your gut health, your bone density, your moods, your cognition. So substituting magnesium is really good. The other thing we'll talk about too is gut issues. If you have gut issues and you're taking oral supplements in pill form, you might not be getting everything you need for that. So looking at other deliveries. So if you dissolve, we create troches sometimes. They're little, gelish kind of squares, and you dissolve them under your tongue so they get right in your bloodstream. So finding a more like different delivery where it dissolves more. Liposomal delivery uses lipids. It wraps the nutrients basically, for just to keep it understandable, wraps it in fats so that your body, it kind of doesn't get damaged as much in the gut. So if you know you have gut issues and you're just throwing supplements down your throat, you're probably not absorbing that much. And so I would say that you can definitely waste your money doing that. So I would say testing, making sure you're using bioavailable formulations, high quality supplements, spending an extra $10, $15 to make sure you're getting what you need from that is worth it. And then making sure you're taking the right ones. So, yeah.
No, this is very interesting. And just for the viewers, one clarification or better understanding is the word she used, the bioavailability, is very important word to understand. We can put anything in the mouth and it goes down. The question is, would it be available to be used in the body with different organs, liver, spleen, kidney, etc., brain can use it or not. And that's called bioavailability. Otherwise, it will just come out through urine or through feces. It's very important to understand, and that's emphasis she's making, that whatever you take, make sure the bioavailability is there, and you're just not taking it just to treat your brain, to feel good about taking something. The second piece is important, that when I first started this conversation, I thought we'll have a lot of disagreements on a lot of things, but the way you formatted everything, it absolutely makes sense. You are now telling people that, hey, listen, all these supplements are not for everybody, and not everything is for everybody. It is for a certain subgroup of people. I could not agree with you more than what you just mentioned, that the soil has changed over a period of time. The nutrients that we are getting out of the natural courses are different, and there is definitely a deficiency of the things that we really need. If we can identify those deficiencies and bring it back in a bioavailable format, it's totally scientific way of doing it, and I applaud you for testing people, and I applaud you to determine that they're deficient in things, and I absolutely applaud you for making those products available. I cannot agree with you more. People who are truly deficient in vitamin B12, you give them one shot of vitamin B12, their life changes dramatically. So viewers, there is a lot of credence here to what we are listening today, and hopefully this will enlighten all of us to do better in looking outside in versus inside out.
Can I make one more note about
please.
supplementation?
This is your show.
I'll say also, if you know your gut is very damaged, then another way to ensure, like if you need something urgently, if you've been ill and you need extra vitamins or fluids, IV is also another way to skip the gut altogether and hit the bloodstream. So there's many supplements you can do through an IV bag that can help you with immunity, or if you're going through something very dire and you need the extra nutrition, if you need vitamin C delivery immediately, if you need B vitamins, if you need amino acids, if you're recovering from something, then especially if you've been on antibiotics to recover from that, or if you've been in the hospital, many times you're given antibiotics and it can distress your microbiome. using IV therapy for that is also a great way to get around that.
Sure. Hopefully, not everybody would need that.
Yes.
But tell us a little bit about how can somebody improve their gut system. You mentioned a few times. I'll be very eager to hear your thoughts about that.
So the gut is so central to our life. There's different estimations when you read studies. Is it 70% of the immune system? Is it 80% of the immune system? But some very high percentage, 70, 80% of your immunity is contained in your gut. And it's based on circadian rhythms. So sleeping well is really critical to the gut. And I have a lot of friends who are moms and they're going crazy, and I tell them, you have to find a way to get sleep. And they'll call me back 2 weeks later. They've either talked to their husband to get better sleep, they've worked with their family to not have to wake up at night, and within a few days, their lives have turned around. And before they were nauseous all day long, or their appetite was weird, and they had sugar cravings, which sugar damages the gut. And just the return to sleep in a straight through at least 6, 7, 8 hours changes their life and is very impactful to the microbiome. So that's one way you can improve it. Getting rid of sugar and highly seed oils, I would say those are two, if I could tell anyone any food advice. Cut out sugar, processed sugar, cut out seed oils. Those are the most damaging. Go to your cabinet right now and pull out all of the seed oil and throw it in the trash. And opt for more natural oils that are nourishing to the gut, like coconut oil, olive oil, ghee is really good, grass-fed butter, those things are all very nourishing. I use collagen is also something that we make bone broth at home, and you can do powder collagen as well if you want to supplement with that. That's very nourishing and healing to the gut line. Most people have gut damage. And so anything we can do, the foods, I think probably most important, right? Even before a supplement. I want to say that the gut microbiome, I think, is one of the most important biomarkers we have, almost more important than DNA, into how we are going to respond to our environment. Your gut microbiome can tell a doctor, one little smear of poo can tell your doctor where you live, what kind of food you eat, what medications you've taken, what illnesses you've had, can all be present in the microbiome. One study I read recently was when they were measuring for COVID outcomes, like if you were going to be hospitalized or you were going to die, they had 92% accuracy with predicting outcomes from looking at fecal matter. They were able to tell based on what that person was eating and the health of their gut, whether that person was going to have a negative or positive or whatever outcome that's not damaging to them post-virus. And that's how critical it is. I would say even more of a marker for our outcome than even our own DNA, how we're going to respond to environmental issues. So eating the right foods, fermented foods, sauerkraut, kefir, any kind of fermented dairies, really good, different cheeses, kimchi, things like that are really, really nourishing. And then if you want to those are probiotic foods. That increase the good bacteria in your gut. Because that's really what gut health is it's the balance between the good and the bad bacteria. We never want the bad to outnumber the good. There's all kinds of things in your microbiome, right? There's viruses, there's bacteria, there's fungus, it's all in there. And so it's all about the balance of that. So anytime we can feed probiotics, make good bacteria, and we can feed probiotics with prebiotic foods like bananas, asparagus, onions, garlic, all those kind of things are things that you can just do naturally for just the price of the food and a little bit of your own effort to create foods that are nourishing to the gut. And then in turn help your immunity, which I think is really critical. Something on people's minds in the last couple of years is their immunity. And it's incredible. Your gut microbiome is separated by the gut lining, and it's just this razor thin little lining. And on the other side of that are all your immune cells, and they communicate constantly through this little sheath inside, and they send each other messages on, okay, there's a virus in the body, produce this immune response. And when that gets broken down because of antibiotics, that can be an issue. So it's important if you've been on antibiotics to rebuild the gut line as much as possible. You can take probiotics, but you can literally change your gut microbiome by changing your diet within a couple of weeks. It's just this tremendous control that we have over that part of our body. So I hope I didn't jump around too much. I get excited when I talk about it, but just because it's so critical.
We can truly see your passion here.
And it changed my life to fix my own. So,
absolutely. So we are very appreciative that you came in the show, gave us a different perspective, and we certainly will look into improving our lives based on the theories you have mentioned today. If our viewers or anybody is in Austin, please visit Alive and Well. If you are in Dallas, very soon, visit Alive and Well. And if you have any questions for her or for us, please follow the prompt on the screen. Please send us an email or contact us, and we'll be more than glad to share our experiences as always. Please visit all our social media. Go to our website, www.bharatsangani.com, and always look for Life is a Business story or programs that we put out and share our experiences with you. You can join our mentorship program, and all that information you can access just by going to the website. And again, thanks for watching. Hopefully we are bringing value to you. Until we see you next time, Oruva, or see you then.